Welcome to WinesOfItaly LiveStream today. I'm Katarina, as usual, from Grapevine Adventures. Tonight we're having Alessandra Quarta from Claudio Quarta Winery in Puglia. So I'm very happy about that because I was very, very interested to have her on my live stream. And so she's going to start present herself. Don't forget to share the stream. For those of you who follow, and she will start presenting herself while I will start monitoring the questions. And I will also put it live on Twitter for those of you who want to listen in there. It's not going to be very nice graphically on Twitter, but if you want to listen there, you can follow. So welcome, Alessandra, and I don't know, do you want to start presenting yourself and your winery?
Thank you so much, Katarina. Thank you for having me. And so hello everyone from Lecce specifically. Right now I'm from here. I'm 28 and I've been working with my dad in our winery for 6 years now. We are winemakers in Puglia and both also Campania. So our philosophy is talking about the south of Italy, the south that excites. That's what we say. And our winery in Puglia is actually based in Lizzano, which is in the province of Taranto. So we are on the coast in a beautiful area, and that's the Primitivo di Manduria area. And in Avellino, instead, we are in the province of, in the area of Tufo, so on the hills, completely different environment and completely different wine production, because we decided to divide ourselves from the warm reds from Puglia and the more mineral and rich white wines in Campania. And so actually we are a young company because my dad, who is formerly a biologist, decided to change his life at the age of 50 years old and start making wine. And we were actually living in the States 12 years ago in Pennsylvania, where his biotech company was based. And he had always been passionate about wine, of course. And as I grew up drinking wine and sharing news about wine making territories and new wines that we were trying, we have always shared a passion. But I never knew that one day he would decide to change his life, but he did. And that was the beginning of everything. And then I decided to join him, and now we're sharing the stream, which is becoming bigger every day, and it's making me meet people like you, Katarina.
Yes, but just a question. So did you decide from the beginning to have wineries in two different regions, or you wanted to start in Puglia from the first or from the start?
So actually we are from here. So he had clear in his mind that his project would start from the south because it's in a way easier, but also not our thing to be making wine in more well-known regions. So he wanted to do this project also as with his idea of developing this region in the south. But yes, to answer your question, we decided to start from two because he didn't want to focus on only one territory, and he wanted to share the knowledge that he could acquire in one territory with that of another, and understand the differences and add value to the specific production of each territory.
Okay. So I'm just going to say hello to Lloyd Stevens from UK, who is here, and I see also that some other people have checked in, and there are some people from US I know also too. So we're talking to Alessandra Quarta from Puglia, and I don't know, do you want to say something more about the background of the winery, or do you want to start talking more about the specifics in each area where you have a winery? Because Perhaps not everybody knows that much about, because it's in Irpinia, no?
Sure.
And the wine is in Salento.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, about us, we have this kind of approach to wine, which is more scientific in a way. So our wines are very clean, and my dad really likes to focus on good winemaking. And about the territory, as I was saying, the two territories where we have one foot and the other are completely different.
Yes.
And I really love the fact that we start harvesting in Puglia in the middle of August, and when we finish the harvest in Puglia, like in half September, then we start in Irpinia. So we live two lives. And in Puglia, we make especially Primitivo di Manduria and Negro Amaro, because we are in the DOP of those two wines. And in Campania, our best white is the Greco di Tufo. And then we also make Fiano di Avellino and Falanghina, as much as Aglianico and Taurasi, talking about reds. So Taurasi is that big, bold southern wine told to be the Barolo of the South, and it was the first OCG of southern Italy. So it's a very important area for winemaking in South. And Puglia is growing, and we are actually now enjoying a little bit more of fame that the region has, because a few years ago we were really struggling when talking about Puglia. Nobody knew, and now also thanks to tourism, people come here from all over the world, and they like the wines that they taste, and so they go back home and they search for them. So it's also, I mean, more entertaining now. It's not only a struggle, also to be selling those wines around the world.
Yeah, I think Puglia is doing great now. It seems to be more and more in people's minds and on people's lips, as far as I can see when I follow different chats and different bloggers and so forth. So if you would describe also the kind of the climate, the microclimate where you have the winery in the Salento.
Yeah, sure. I hope that all of you will come one day, and you're truly invited. And we are actually just 1 kilometer away from the shore, the beautiful shore of the Adriatic Sea. Sorry, the Ionic Sea. I'm sorry. I just get confused. And so basically we're talking about, so Puglia, you picture it as the heel of the boot of Italy. And then we are on the west part, where is the Gulf of Taranto. And so we are located inside there. And actually the land where we established our vineyards was actually once underwater. So it brought outside all the minerals and the marine fossils from when it was underwater, and that still makes that soil very rich in nourishment for the plants. So we benefit from that, and we also benefit from the fact that there's always some sea breeze blowing, and that allows us. We actually started with organic farming. We although 2 years ago we finished the conversion of the vineyards in organic, but we decided that we will do oh, sorry, Caterina, maybe you can help me, because we say lotta integrata in Italian, but I'm not sure what the translation will be.
Cioè, cosa hai detto?
Lotta integrata, that's basically a way of cultivating the vineyards that tends to be organic, but also allows it's not like super strict like organic farming.
See, yeah. well, I think, I don't know if there's a word for it in English. I don't know. If anybody here knows a specific word, just tell
Yeah,
us.
please help us. But
That you're
anyways,
less straight than organic.
sorry, I will look it up. And so it's a super beautiful area, and the fun part is I go harvesting in August, and it's so hot, you can imagine. It's like 40 degrees. And when we finish, we start at dawn, so like 5:45, and then at 12 we're done. I do the harvest with our team is all women, and they're amazing women, of course. I also have a video that we can share later about
Okay, that would be cool.
our harvest party. And after harvesting, I go and swim. So that's the cool part. It's only 5 minutes away from the beach. So.
Well, that sounds pretty cool to
It
go
is,
to
it
the
is.
beach in the afternoon and harvesting in the morning. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I wish it could be like that every day. But now it's really cold also here in Puglia. Did you? I mean, you know, you're in Italy.
Here
but
it's freezing. It's like it's worse than Sweden almost.
yeah.
No, I'm joking, but it's very cold.
Yeah, it's
I
really
dropped
cool.
the website, and then also when you talk about your Vino Democratico, I will drop the other website.
Okay, cool. And then yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. I see that some people are following here.
I also see my friend Mariangela from here. Hi.
And yeah, I see that there's some other people too. So if you have any questions, also if Lloyd is still here and the others of you, you just feel free to ask them. So yeah, I don't know. Should we start talking a bit about perhaps because you do a lot of. I mean, I met you last summer when I was in Puglia for Radici del Sud, and
yeah,
there was
that was fun.
thing at I think it was the consortium of Primitivo di
Manduria.
no?
Yeah.
So it was a very fun event, and there was a lot of things going on. But I remember that you talked to me about the projects that you're having within your winery, because you do a lot of. I mean, if you go to the website, you can see that they do a lot of cool initiatives.
Thank you.
On the blog also, I think it's called the blog or something similar.
Yeah, it's called Diario. Blog.
So I don't know. Do you want to tell us a bit about some of the projects because I think it's a bit different.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the background. So we try to make quality, but we also try to make our personality stand out, both in the wines and in our activities. So we feel like we have a strong ethics, and that relates to the relationships we develop with our workers and also, of course, our clients or anyone that has to deal with us, unfortunately for them. And we also have a strong ethics in taking care of the environment. And one day I felt like I wanted to put all our values inside one bottle. So I wanted to have 750 milliliters of a project that was not only wine, it was also about values. So I came out with the idea of Quale in 2014. And the Quale, so I have it here because I'm drinking it. Sorry, I can't share it with you. So this is my wine, and the Quale is my name because my name is Alessandra Quarta, but that's not only because I have a big ego, it's also because Quale in Italian means what. So that was the beginning of something. It was the beginning of a project that was asking questions, but also providing answers. So my answers were related to good practices in winemaking, but also sharing, as we were saying, those values about taking care of the environment and other people. So I decided to have a packaging for my wine that was as much as possible eco-sustainable. So we have like lightweight bottle and the recycled paper, and then like a shorter micro agglomerated cork. So we have like a few details that we follow in order to give provide like a standard for not wasting materials for the packaging. And also it says join the wine democracy on the label, and we actually have a manifesto for the wine democracy on the side in 6 articles stating how everyone is a citizen of the wine democracy, so everyone has the right to have a good Italian wine at a fair price, and how everyone in the wine democracy should do something good every time they drink a glass of red wine. And why we say democracy? Because this wine gives 5% of the proceeds. Ciao, Paul. 5% of the proceeds go for charity. So that's what we decided to do. So it's our little help for other people. But you who buy the bottle decide where that 5% goes. So you actually pick 1 out of 4 non-profit organizations that we support. You select it on the website and you can vote because you have a code that is a unique code on the bottle, and that allows you to select to express your vote. Now we're close to elections here in Italy, and we are struggling deciding who we will vote for. But in the wine democracy,
to vote for wine.
It's easier in the wine democracy because all the 4 projects that we support are really nice.
Yeah.
And then the sense of wine democracy was also that you should be drinking your wine and enjoying your wine anyhow, anytime. So I didn't like the fact that wine is very often, Katarina, you will confirm what I say, it's very often only linked to certain moments of the day or certain wine glasses, or a certain way also of understanding the taste and the value of a wine. I want it to be more accessible. So I don't worry about this wine being the best one. I just want it to be a good wine, a good value for wine that you can drink every day and you can enjoy it in also at any temperature. So we also recommend to try to drink Quale slightly chilled during summer, and
that's really cool.
Yeah, just do whatever. So we select actually the blend every year, every vintage, based on how the vintage was, and we try to have this fresh and flavorful profile that can allow you to drink it at both temperatures.
So it's a drinkable, easy, enjoyable, democratic wine that can it can be accessible for everyone. I think that's a very good idea, and it's a very good philosophy.
Thank you. It's actually going really well. And Paul, who was greeting us before I met him in the States, where we're doing a really nice work, also thanks to people like him who appreciated the project and now are doing their best to promote it. And I really appreciate what they do because they also believe in the project. They don't only sell a product, but they share the values. And that's what really matters to me after all.
Yeah, no, I mean, how many bottles do you make per year of the wine?
Quale started in 2014 with 15,000 bottles. And now it's about 4 times that.
Okay. Okay, so Ole says that he will. I don't know. I think Ole was just liking the stream.
Okay.
Sorry, I was interrupting you.
No, absolutely. So I'm really happy because we were able to increase the production, because we started off with 1 foot, but now we're running, and we're running in the whole world, where I'm distributing it starting from US with Paul Lamarca, and we are also in Switzerland, as we are in Albania. We're very strong with Quale too. And and so what's fun to me about Quale is also that when we organize tastings, we follow the philosophy of the wine, and so we don't like to do, you know, too formal events. We like to have live music and just enjoy, and that makes it a lot more fun to share and to sell wine, actually.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyone who has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try to supervise the questions all.
I also say hello to Mihaela. She's amazing. She's an amazing connoisseur of wine.
Yeah, well, welcome Michaela, and welcome also Paul and all the others who are following. There's also some others of my friends from US who are watching while at work, I think.
Okay.
So they don't ask too many
Good
questions.
for them. Oh, yeah.
So should we go in? We started to talk about this democratic wine, and let's see if they perhaps have any questions further on. Should we start talking a bit more? Do you want to highlight any of your other wines? I mean, I tasted your rosé wine when I was in Manduria, but if there's any, because I see you made a lot, you make a lot of wines, but perhaps if you want to highlight some of them that you think.
Sure. I'm a big fan of the rosé too, and our rosé is called the Rose, and it's made of Negromaro grapes. And now there is this big discussion about what color should the rosé be. And actually, we always loved in my family pale rosés, like the Provençal wines. And but in Puglia, as you know, Katarina, it's a tough matter because we weren't used to making light colored rosés. They were always really bold because we didn't have the technologies in our winery. But now that we do, we are able to make this really pleasant and how to say, like really light and pleasant rosés. And we believe that makes the wine more compatible with any food or any situation that you want to drink it. And so we like it in that style. I don't like those bold ones, but it's a really tough matter to discuss in Puglia.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are many different rosé wines in Puglia now also coming out, because I guess many are more used to the rosé wines towards your part, no? The Salento, the Negramaro.
Yeah.
So we're back. Sometimes these things happen.
Hey, we're back.
This is the thing with live streaming, so sometimes it just kind of interrupts everything. Anyway, so we were talking about the rosé wines of the Salento. And
What's
that,
your
of course,
opinion?
of course, the rosé wines of the Salento and the Puglia in general are much more colorful, which I think is a good thing. I don't think it's necessarily a counterproductive thing. So I don't know if somebody else here have any opinions on this.
Yeah, I'm only saying that it's tough to discuss it in Puglia, because when you are linked to a tradition, they say that now those who are making like more pale rosés are just following the trend of the market, which is not like that. I mean, if you don't belong to something, then you can do whatever.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Yeah. No, I mean, there's also always going to be this kind of comments, and of course, it's a tough market, I guess, with wine today, because a lot of wineries perhaps try to stay on the trend, while others try to be more doing their own thing. So
yeah,
I guess it can be tough.
Yeah, I mean, okay. And then, as with the same grapes of Negromaro, we also make our traditional rosso, which is Anima di Negromaro, which is 100%. We are in the DOP also of the Negromaro, which is called Lizzano. That's the town where we are located, exactly. So we make also a selection of reds, and both from indigenous and international varieties.
Okay.
And what's also interesting to know about our production is that we have a biodiversity collection that we host in our vineyards. And we host in a project that was developed with the Università di Milano and Professor Scienza. We host this big, I mean, it's only actually 1 hectare, but there are more than 500 varieties coming from all over the Mediterranean area. And it's basically a genetic collection on one side, because my dad is a genetist. So actually he is really, he cares about this matter of preventing the loss of all these genes, and because it's of course it's biodiversity. It's really important. And on the other side, we do experimental vinifications of the best varieties every year. And one day we will be ready to propose some new varieties to be listed on the regional list of allowed varieties to be cultivated. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it can be really important because every year we select those that seem to be more resistant to the climate or the lack of water, or also any parasite attack. And those probably have more potential of making really good wine from our region. So it's a really nice encounter of science and some contemporary methods.
I read about that in your diario or on your blog. But is your aim to start producing only wine with only indigenous grape varieties, or you still want to keep also some international?
Well, the market is changing. As in fashion, we also have trends in wines. So when we started, when we set our vineyard, that was in 2007, people weren't talking only about indigenous varieties. So my dad felt like making a bet, I wanted to say, also about cultivating international varieties, with the philosophy of saying that the territory is what matters, and the different varieties are just a way of expression that the territory has. So that after all, what comes out is the territory itself. So based on that philosophy, we can go on also in cultivating and blending indigenous varieties with international ones. But on the other side, we would like to find something interesting coming from that collection. So one day we will probably be making even larger bets on those indigenous and less known varieties.
Yeah, but I think it's a general trend, because also when I went to Calabria to visit some wineries further south in Calabria, they were also talking about this kind of research that had been made locally, because also there they have a lot of more wild grapevines since the Greek settler period.
I guess it's
growing a bit here and there.
Yeah. My opinion is that depends on two reasons mainly. And one is the territory, which hided these smaller varieties, maybe, in this little town or in this little part of the countryside where people kept cultivating these varieties that probably their grandparents had planted. And then, hi, Lloyd.
Hello, Lloyd. Lloyd is from UK. He's a very faithful follower.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. And as I was saying, also the other reason is that in southern Italy, we were also discovered, from the big markets just more recently. So we weren't following the trend, as we were saying, for such a long time. So everyone kept doing what they were doing, and only now we are facing this big market and saying, okay, what should we do? Maybe we follow the trend that is now leading.
Well, yeah,
and so we keep cultivating.
There's also more interest for this kind of more native wines, which perhaps there wasn't that much interest of before.
Luckily we are more conscious about what the heritage means now for our territories.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
My friend from New York, he's listening in. So
thank you so much, Urban Wine. Oh, thank you. Oh, maybe you tasted it then, because they said they can appeal.
Did you taste our wines, or are you just saying in general that you like your wines from Puglia? Probably. I don't know if he has tasted your wines.
Okay, maybe it's just the feeling that he has. Good. Can't wait to be sharing them with you.
I'm sure he's going to taste them if he hasn't done so yet, because I think he works in the wine business.
So Puglia is really nice, and there's a lot that can come out from this amazing environment, because we have these warm seasons and
but have you seen any big changes with I'm just jumping to another area now, but with the climate change and so forth, which in some areas is a bit hard for winemakers. Have you seen a big change in Puglia too, or because or it's happening?
It's happening, and fortunately we're not denying it anymore. So maybe, I don't know what will happen, but at least we are conscious of what's happening. And in the last vintages, I remember my friends, winemakers in northern Italy, saying that they had some really good seasons, and that they were having unexpectedly rich wines from their productions, and because it was warmer, and they could finally get more flavors out of certain varieties. But in Puglia, we are struggling. We're starting to struggle because, of course, the weather has always been warmer and the temperatures higher, and we suffer from lack of water very much. And when the temperatures are just too high, it's so risky for our grapes. and especially the Primitivo, which has really light skin, it tends to truly explode. So I listened to older people from Manduria, from the area, saying that they were used to harvesting Primitivo in the end of September. I mean, now we harvest it at least 1 month before. We harvest it at the end of August, and that means something. And I mean, they were also reaching higher alcoholic volumes back then, but we can't now. If we don't harvest, we're just gonna lose our grapes. So it's not a matter of style, it's just a matter of temperatures have changed, the weather has changed, so there's nothing we can do.
No, that's true. I don't know. I guess it's going to continue to change. So
yeah. So in our studies from that collection of biodiversity, there is also the aim of finding those varieties that are more resistant to higher temperatures.
Well, I guess that's, as you said before, one of the solutions, no? Also to continue producing wine that doesn't get too high in alcohol and too ripe and too fruity and too sweet, probably.
No, I mean also because we don't like that kind of wine, but I think that you can't get a good wine if you wait too long. I mean, that's what happened some years. We were waiting, but then it was too risky. So yeah, it's changing, but not a scientist, I can't say what's gonna happen. But we feel the change.
It was a general question to ask. I mean, because it often comes up in these interviews with people wondering how the climate
is affecting. I can say for sure it's true. It's changing. We are trying to be ready.
Do you see a big difference between the winery in Campania and the winery in Puglia, or
talking about climate?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Irpinia is a hilly territory, and it's different. It's completely different. The soil is different, the microclimates are different, and the temperatures follow completely.
Very cold in Irpinia, no? When I was there,
it gets cold. It gets really cold. So, now it's snowing, and they couldn't go to the winery today, my colleagues. It's like really, really full of snow, and we are 600 meters on the sea level, so we're pretty high with our winery. Yeah. And but I don't want to annoy anyone talking about climate change, but yes, we can feel the change also in Irpinia. It's slower, and maybe it depends on the vintages. It's not like a set trend that we feel, but yes, it's true. It's changing. No.
So just a comment, because Urban Wine, he says, who works in the wine business, he says that he believes that wines from Puglia is a good is in the taste of many Americans, according to him.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, actually,
fruity and a bit sweeter as a wine, so it's good for an introduction to drinking wine.
Sure. Yeah, we had a really good outcome by starting distributing our wines in US. And I was there in October, and I will be back in April. And the feedback I receive is really amazing. So I'm really excited. And I also really love how Americans are interested in wine, and they are able to talk about it without that old-fashioned feeling that we Italians or old world people have the tendency of doing. So as we were saying, I made the democratic wine to contrast this. Instead, in the States, wine is trendy, wine is glamour, and I really like that. It's really also in my vision of wine. It's cool to be shared after work. I mean,
Yeah, Yeah. No, I think that's also. I mean, it's also a good thing for wine producers, no? Because in Scandinavia, it's the same. I mean, wine hasn't really been a part of everyday things in Scandinavia until the last 10 years, more or less. When I went away from there, people didn't drink much wine at all. But now it's also there a trendy thing. So it's it's like one year you go back and they talk about cava, the next year it's rosé wine, and it's like they want to know everything about that specific.
Cool. And you bring the news.
So I think wine can be also trendy, and you don't have to always follow like that it has to be paired regionally or that it has to be in a certain way. So
Yeah.
but it could be good also that there's a bit of both.
Yeah. I don't say that you shouldn't know what you're drinking at all. I mean, but I like the fact that in the States also younger consumers are really interested in wines. They want to know everything about it. I receive emails like weekly from customers in the US asking for details about the wines, but I like their way of, taking a selfie while drinking wine. And we don't do that. I mean, we are Italians and we don't do that. Okay.
No,
Why? What's wrong?
no, that's not. It's hard here in Italy to be more, unless you're a really big influencer or something. Otherwise, it's hard to be more social with wine.
Trendy, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think it's been a very interesting discussions. I don't know. Do you want to say something more about your coming projects? I see you have. If you go, all here who are listening in, if you go and have a look at their website, you can see that there's a lot of things happening all the time with this winery. I see that you collaborate a lot also locally.
Yeah,
with different projects. So I think it's very interesting and.
Thank you. Oh, no, I mean, not much. But please, go and look on our website, but also follow us and come visit. That's the best way of getting to know someone and some region. So we're here in Puglia and in Campania. So anytime you make it south,
So
please.
if people wants to find your wines, I mean, you said before a bit in the countries where you are, how can they find you apart from writing to you directly? But are you in specific states in the US as even
old but gold, they say. That's my thing. Direct mailing always works. We don't have a store locator yet, but maybe one day we will. But in the States, our importer is located in Colorado, but then we have distribution in basically all states. And then UK, we're also doing a pretty good job, especially in pizzerias in London. You can find us. You can find the Quale. I mean, please send us a direct mail. We'll be answering in less than 24 hours, I promise.
Colorado is pretty cool because I know that there's a lot of wine writers and wine influencers in Colorado. So I think they're going to be happy to
cool.
hear that you have your importer in Colorado.
Great. We're just starting, but I mean, no, it's we've been distributing there for a few years, but now it's growing so much. We were awarded our Primitivo in 2016, December, was awarded among the top 100 wines by Wine Spectator. And that was a really big thing for us, of course. And that really meant some development for us. So since then, the US market kind of exploded. And that's
so the US market is the best, or you sell more in Asia or?
We actually sell a lot in China, as not only Americans are the one appreciating the Primitivo and the Negramaro, also Chinese. And Chinese are really fun. I actually have a lot of fun talking to them and going visit. And they also come very often because they actually want to know all about it, all about you. And so we actually do really nice sales there too. It's different, of course, but it can be fun too. And the important thing is to be creative and to have fun all the time.
So if you would choose a perfect pairing to one of your wines, I don't know if you want to choose the Quale or anyone else. Which pairing would it be?
Okay, quale is perfect with pizza.
Okay.
Okay, that's my thing. I like to promote it with pizza. And but quale actually, since you can drink it at any temperature, you can pair it with kind of any food. So that's the wine democracy. And our wines, I mean, I mean, I could say anything, but
I don't know. If you choose one from your Irpinia estate, which one would it be?
I was actually gonna say that our Greco di Tufo tasted on sushi was pretty amazing. So we also, we have many clients, Japanese clients, serving Greco di Tufo on sushi and sashimi. And maybe something really fun that happened. Well, I don't want to talk about Chinese food because that's really too much for me. But we were pairing our wines with anything, like from snakes to I swear, like anything happened. But then maybe something fun. I don't know. Well, talking about quale, we served it chilled and we drank it on a cassata from Sicily, and I can tell you that it was pretty amazing too. Yeah, because it's kind of fresh and it has like this sweet taste, although it's not about sugar residual, which really is minimum, but it's just about the taste. So when we chilled it, and it was a summer night, and we had it on a cassata because we didn't have a sweet wine, but it actually surprised us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's another question which was coming to me in a private message here. So he says that he thinks that the US market is much for focusing on millennials now. Do you see any in your own, I mean, the selling of your wines, do you see any preference there that you sell more towards the age of millennials, or do you have any?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I had the same impression. Excuse me?
No, I don't know if it was a difficult question because I don't know if you...
No, I understand the point. And like quale, when I was thinking about people of my age drinking it, I had that feeling that they were looking for something else rather than only quality, quality, quality. I mean, quality is the starting point. And nowadays, we are able to make great wines. So let's make great wines as if it was normal. And then let's go deeper into projects, into philosophies. And so that really mattered to me, but I could see that it also mattered to consumers. And so millennials are that. Like I am basically one of them. So when I select my food and my wine, I like to imagine who's behind it. And if I can go online and see that there's a person and there's a family behind it, and I think it's pretty cool. And people can really, I mean, they're writing me emails asking about how I made it and what's inside and how much sulfites there are in it. And I'm replying to all those questions. So I think for millennials, it's really important to be able to get in touch with the producers and also to share the values of a certain community that cares about the environment and cares about the community itself. And we are able to take care of each other by, making the right choices. So I feel very close to the millennials with this project specifically. But what's really their specific thing is that they are not like super feel consumers. So they tend to search one wine and then one other. But then on quale they come back. So they experience, but then they buy it again.
Well, that seems great. I mean, I think it's already, as I said, when I was there last year, it kind of remained in my mind, is this wine, even if I then kind of forgot about the specifics. But I think it's a great idea. So it's great that it also works so well, and I think also in Scandinavia it would work very well. But
Okay, let's
like
do
these
it.
kind of things. But then I don't live there since a long time, but I think
I know.
it would
Maybe
work.
you're friends.
So if anybody here has any questions, feel free to ask them, and otherwise we will soon round it up because I think I will not take up more of her time. But
No,
it's
it
been
was a
very
pleasure.
interesting, and we've been discussing a lot of things. We haven't been focusing specifically on each wine because they produce a lot of wines, and I think it's more interesting also to focus on these projects because
Yeah.
you
And
have
also
a very
it's,
specific philosophy which not every winery has, I think, and I think that's also very interesting that you kind of have thought it through from the beginning how you want to present yourself and how you want to present your wines, and I think that's very important in general.
thank you. But if I can add something, I also feel that it's frustrating to be talking about so many wines that we are not able to share. So I said, okay, maybe it's better to, talk in general. And then this is the perfect way of introducing someone or a winery. And then next step is for you guys to come visit.
We are also working on a project with another American friend of mine, Tina Mori, she's doing actually Twitter chats with Wine Education, the wine studio, and we're working on something together so people actually in the US can get and taste the wine before the chats.
Cool.
And we'll see when it.
That's really nice. That's a perfect compliment.
More a reality. We're still working on it, but that would be the ultimate or the optimal thing, not to be able to taste the wine before,
absolutely.
and then you can more discuss
the
wine more in detail.
Yeah.
And I think it will also be good for the wineries because it's an even better way to present yourself. So.
Yeah, but as I was saying, this is a perfect start, and I thank you very much for having me on your program, Katarina.
No, thank you for wanting to be here. And I'm sorry if I seem a bit distracted sometimes. I'm just trying to read everywhere.
No, of course. I'm enjoying, and you're taking care of all the technical stuff. So thank you.
But anyway, you're great because you kind of have no problem in talking yourself. So it's
talking to myself. Yeah, I do that.
No, I mean you don't have any problems to kind of to direct the show. So it's good. I don't have to.
Don't worry.
Support. No, because sometimes perhaps they're more shy and they kind of want more directions from me. So I don't know. I think there were no more questions, no more in the private messages for me here either. So some of the people that are usually here was not here today because I know that they're traveling back from the States, some of them to France where they're living.
Okay. Well, we can be back some other day.
Yes,
maybe
yes. And anyway,
we'll talk about some other wine.
True. And anyway, the replay will be here, so you can all listen to. I don't know. Do you want to add something about that you think that people should know about you before we?
It's like I could say anything, but no, I'm good. I'm satisfied with what we shared, and yeah, I mean, I will be glad to meet any of your followers one day. So let's keep in touch.
That might actually also happen because some of them are traveling to Puglia frequently. So some of them were not here today, but some of them really are. So it's probably going to happen sooner or later.
Okay, I'm here.
So for those of you who listen in today, I'm thanking you for being here, and Lloyd and everyone else, and Urban Wine. You can go and check out my blog and website, Great Wine Adventures, if you want to sign up for the newsletter to get the latest about the live streams also. And you can also, I put a link to Alessandra's winery and her Quale wine. So if you want to go and check them out, they're in the comments below. And I hope you have enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. I think there was a lot of cool information that I learned today about Puglia and Campania wines. So I hope you also enjoyed it. And I thank you, Alessandra, for being here.
Absolutely.
And next Tuesday, we will actually go back to Emilia-Romagna. We have a local producer from Emilia-Romagna that I will tell you more about in the next few days. So thank you everyone again, and thank you Alessandra. And if you stay here with me, I'll just going to shut off the live stream.
Sure.
So
Grazie.
thank you everyone.
Grazie.
And,
good night.
And good night. Ciao ciao.
Ciao.